The Office, episode 4. John and Warren, Pat Ford. It's a big, big week. We've got Kirk Minahan live at the State Theater in Portland, Maine on Saturday night. Get your tickets if you haven't already. We've got Mike and the Minifans live from Gritty's on Friday night, the night before. That should be a great time. As far as the show today, the dripping does continue. I need to ask Pat about event and stadium parking. I'm also embarrassed to say I'm excited to discuss compliance and authorization for medical coverage. I know you guys are as well. We'll talk about everything in between, but as usual, before anything else, let me be the first to say, I don't care if Tony in marketing has a new stand-up desk. I don't care if Nancy in billing is organizing another office potluck. I don't care if your company decided to suspend quarterly bonuses and replace them with pizza party Fridays. This will still be the most boring part of your week. Pat, let's get right into it, man. I am getting asked left and right for you to break down what the deal is with event parking, stadium parking. Are there advantages to in-house versus outsourcing your parking needs? What's going on?
Couple great questions. John, good evening. I'd like to say something before I start. There's been a lot of chatter about you potentially not being a full drip. I want to say that you are one of the, if not the most boring men I have ever met in my entire life. So wear that as a badge of honor. I stand for you.
I take that as a compliment.
Wanted to get that off my chest. But yeah, listen, I'm on X and I see the posts. I see the replies about kind of requests for all this stuff. They were coming in by the hundreds. Stadium parking is it's a bear. You always know what you're going to get depending on the type of arena, the size, the total capacity, but you never truly know what you're going to get until it kicks you right in the mouth. You want to use, Jesus, let's just think of an arena. Let's use Gillette Stadium, for example.
Of course.
Yeah, what is it, 50,000 seats?
I believe so.
Different from every other kind of parking apparatus or kind of parking operation. Apparatus was definitely not the word, but parking operation. Event parking all comes at the same goddamn time. They're trying to get into that stadium. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They don't want to chit chat. They just want to get in. The longer the line, the more pissed off they are. And if you don't handle it correctly, the longer the line, some of these people aren't even going to get in to start the game. So event parking it's one of the things that's one of the most delicate pieces of the parking world. It's blowing up more and more, and this will kind of lead into the in-house / outsource argument or discussion as well.
Yeah, I need to hear that.
Of course, I don't blame you. But it's blowing up quickly. A lot of these companies or a lot of these organizations that would always just say, "Hey, we'll throw somebody out there for $20. You know, somebody's just going to take cash the whole time. You know, we'll deal with, sometimes 10,000 cars, $20 a pop, no problem." It comes to a point where you realize you can't handle that. That's why they get guys like us, the professionals, in there to kind of handle it. But there are pros and cons to both sides of the argument. Do you want me to get into them now?
If you guys get involved, is cash completely out?
No, not in a lot of instances, but unfortunately, the ability to track vehicles from parking operations of any kind has grown exponentially over the years. But the one thing that's always the most difficult to track is cash tickets. You have an attendant taking cash physically into their pocket. There's,
right.
Down the road, we're talking 2030, 2032, 2033. You'll be looking at event mode where you basically pull in, you put cash in the machine, gate goes up, and you're free, and then you exit freely at the end. Or just not really there yet with the perfectionist methods. But yeah, so the hardest part for us is to be able to determine if we actually got that amount of cash tickets, because it's pretty simple. We use kind of handhelds that scan a ticket barcode, enter it into the system, and then basically you swipe a credit card and that credit card number gets tied to that transaction. Now with cash, right? If I'm doing 10,000 cards, I can't count every card at the end of the night. I could have somebody just handing out $20, and every second or third person that comes through, they're just going to put that in their pocket like it never happened. So we generally try to steer away from the cash handlings, but I will say we have been making a pretty heavy push to move to credit card only. Now, if you're an owner and we're your operator, There are downsides to that, and that downside's credit card fees. With cash, your really only fee that you're looking at is bank fees, a Brinks deposit. What are the other? We primarily just use Brinks, but you're really just looking for somebody to pick up the cash. That's the only real fee associated with it, and a couple
Right.
minor deposit fees. But with the credit cards, it depends on what kind of processor you use. This is new fad Toast, not into it. There's Clover, there's Square, there's a whole bunch of them, but you're ranging anywhere from like 3.7 to upwards of 6, depending on the size of the operation for credit card fees. So that, I mean, if you're doing a large volume of cash, that's a pretty decent chunk that you're chipping away at there. But no,
If someone like you guys gets involved, do you have anything to do with any of the insurance of anything that may happen in that lot?
Yeah, we cover the insurance 99 times out of 100, which is a whole nother debacle within itself, because then you have to kind of, you have to assess the risk. And especially a lot of these self-park operations, you got guys with a flag pointing people into spots.
Right.
Let's just say it. It's unfortunate. I don't want to say it. Sometimes they get run over. It just happens every once in a while.
Listen,
People drink at
you
these
lose a
games.
guy.
It's actually very true. We've had a couple of guys get absolutely trucked. No one's died, but which is great. But with that, you go from having a workers' comp policy of whatever $1,000 to now you got a $250,000 workers' comp case in your hands, and your investment's lost 20 times over. So there's a lot of different. Every once in a while, you'll have an operator hold the COI. But for the most part, that'll be part of our fee, whether it be a man-hour deal or a management deal, or rarely a lease. So we've kind of steered away from leases after COVID, with just kind of getting the rug ripped out from under everybody. All parking operators have. But anyway, going back to kind of the meat and potatoes here. That was on my notes, so I wanted to shoehorn that in.
You got it.
Going back to the meat and potatoes, there's pros and cons to bringing in a cat like myself and my crew, and doing it with just kind of the Joe Schmoes that you hire off the street. But you just got to keep in mind, a lot of these people who aren't outsourcing, it's not difficult to cut corners. A lot of these guys who are in the lanes are getting paid cash. They don't have to pay benefits. A lot of those cash only operations, they're just, that money might not even ever hit a bank account. So when yeah. So
just like shoving it into some guys like dungarees,
Yeah, a lot of the smaller ones too. Like if I go to them and approach them, I can put a great deal in front of them, but they're like, "You're going to charge me an additional fee to run this when I'm doing it myself in house." And I'm not going to say this, but half that money's going into my slush fund, my pizza fund.
Sure.
But you are seeing a bit of a transition from the mom and pops doing it themselves to, okay, this is getting to be a little bit too much to handle with. Coming out of COVID, the Uber rates and taxi rates plummeted, which is good for our industry because that killed us in 2015, 2016. So it's a bit of a bounce back. But with that, you get more cars all at once, too much to handle. So they pick up the phone, they call in the big dogs, and we come in and we save the day.
Good for you.
That's really the gist of it. I don't want to give away too many family secrets here, but we're starting to become much more and more prevalent in the event parking industry, and it's good too. It's high risk, like I said, with those people getting trucked, but with that comes high reward. So work hard, play hard.
Yeah, I can definitely see that becoming more popular in the event space, especially with you slinging business cards left and right. I'm sure you'll.
I went through a 250 pack in the last 3 months.
There you go.
I hand them out like they're candy.
We had touched on the insurance aspect of it, and that's something I wanted to get into.
Good transition
with the product. It's a pro move. The products that we're providing to customers or patients, really, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be covered by insurance, right? But when I say covered by insurance, everyone's going to have a different coverage, like benefit. Like you might be covered 70%, 80%, if you're lucky, maybe 100%. But something that's really, really interesting that I think, unless you've actually used one of these products, you don't actually understand. And that is, there's actually a use it or lose it type of system that's in place for some of these products. It's very strange. It sort of makes sense when I look at it from the insurance perspective, but then from the customer side, it seems like it could be a little annoying. So the way it works is, let's take a CPAP device, for example.
Could I stop you? What does CPAP stand for? I've always been too ashamed to ask.
Glad you asked. Continuous positive airway pressure. So
Would have never guessed it. Good to know.
if
Thank you.
if you have obstructive sleep apnea, there's something obstructing the breathing sort of in this area. So the CPAP is going to blow positive air pressure through the tube into the mask down into your passageway to hopefully get past whatever is kind of blocking that air passage. What's really interesting is something called prior authorization, or a PAR, as we say in the business. And the prior authorization is tied to something called compliance. So the way it works is you get a CPAP device, and believe it or not, there's like a little modem inside of it, and it uses cell tower data. So just like your cell phone, it'll ping cell towers.
Fucking big pharma.
It'll send information to a DME provider, like the provider that gets you your supplies, and it will send it to your doctor. Sending the information to your doctor is on the clinical side. So they can look at like, oh, okay, because it's more than just how often you're using it. It'll tell you how many times like you wake up at night, or what your AHIs are, which are events like when you stop breathing at night.
I do that.
We all do.
Yeah,
if you do 5 on average per hour, you could be diagnosed with sleep apnea. Anything under 5, you wouldn't necessarily be diagnosed, but over 5, you would be. 5 to 10 is usually mild. Anything higher, you start creeping into other, maybe more severe territory. But the craziest part is, in order to continue providing coverage, the insurance wants to see that you're using the machine 70% of the time. So what they constitute of 70% of the time is 21 out of 30 days for 4 hours or more. So if in a 90-day period, so let's say 90 days goes by, we have to look back between today and 90 days prior to today and try to find a chunk of time. And again, this information is being sent to us through the computer or whatever, through the cell tower data. Find a chunk of time where they used it for 4 hours or more for 21 out of 30 days. If they have, we can go to the insurance and we can basically prove to them, because the insurance, it's meant to cover you, but you know how insurance is. They almost want to do everything they can to not have to cover expenses.
Slimy bastards, no offense.
So we basically have to prove, like, look, you're providing coverage for this patient so they can use this machine at night. The insurance says, yeah, but can you prove to me they're actually using it? If not, what am I paying for? So we have to fill out these forms or go on a portal and fill in the usage information of how often they're using it or not. And the biggest crux to this that makes me laugh, it's such a fucking pain in the ass, is you go through all the trouble to put all the information in the portal. The patient's using the thing 21 out of 30 days, whatever. At the very end, it gives you an authorization number. Picture it like a reference number. So I could give this reference number to the insurance and be like, look, I went on your portal, showed you the evidence you wanted, and you gave me this approval number. When it gives you the approval number, the PAR, as they say, there's a byline that says a prior authorization is not a guarantee of payment. So it always makes me laugh. It's like, all right, well, we went through all this trouble. You gave me an approval number, but you're just kind of like, you know what I mean? Kind of saving your ass at the end by going, just because we gave you this approval number doesn't necessarily mean we're going to pay for it. So it's it's what I do every day, but it's crazy. I don't think people really understand what compliance and prior authorization is. Go ahead.
Couple questions. For one, is this knowledge that people know? Like, is this out there?
Well, if you have a CPAP device, you certainly know about it, because you're trying like hell to get that compliance period for sure.
I am so fucking happy that they didn't have that same technology in retainers, because I'd be fucked. Look at these bad boys, they're all jacked up.
Me too. I had braces, and then I just didn't wear my retainer, and they all shifted again. I'm pretty sad.
My mouth doesn't shut. Watch this. That's my tongue. See, it goes through the front. When I eat pizza, I just pull the cheese off. But I'm sorry, I need to go back to this. So there's like a little device in the CPAP machine that's going to show your usage, send it to the big dogs, and then they're going to send it around to verify your usage. So so if you might have said it, and I was just flabbergasted, but yeah, I'm legitimately like shocked at all this. This is an act.
It's interesting. Yeah,
it is very interesting. So if I only use it 10 of the 21 or 10 of the 30 days, what's the repercussion? Are they coming and they snagging that bad boy? Maybe that's why that one smelled bad. Was it a pre-use?
It's possible. So you would be considered non-compliant if you didn't use it enough. But here's the thing, though. Like I said, it's a 90-day. You do it every 90 days for a year, and then after that, you don't have to do it anymore. So it's actually a rent to own. So you basically lease the device for a year. After that, you just own it. But so you have 90. So let's say you go through 30 days, and in your example, you only used it for 10 out of the 21 days. You didn't make it for that month, but you still have 2 more months to try to get that done. So we have measures in place where we can, if someone's not hitting it, we can get notified and we can contact them like, hey, you should really be using your CPAP more. And honestly,
Oh, that must be uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable, but you think about it this way, it's like, well, why have the CPAP if you're not going to use it? And it's, you clearly, like, you have sleep apnea. If you want the sleep apnea to be, mitigated, then use the device. Now, at the same time, we're also kind of like, well, you're also not going to get, there's the clinical side and the patient care side, and then there's the insurance and the business side. Obviously, the patient using it benefits us and the insurance. So
yeah, I get that, and you definitely should be using it. But like, kind of a common world example that I would tie to like a comparison is my diet that I've been on, which I'm down 4.2 pounds. I didn't hear you say anything before we got on, but that's totally fine.
Here's the thing. I
actually do think I look slimmer in the face. Go ahead.
I thought you looked slimmer in the face. I was a little concerned. It was because I think you got a haircut as well. So I was a little.
I did get a haircut.
Sometimes I can slim you down. I can slim you down.
Shout out Jeff. He did a great job, except for this one piece over here. But anyway, you're saying like they should use it because it's good for them, right? Like on my diet, I've been doing very well, but the last 2 nights, like I couldn't not eat 3 packs of gummies, fruit snacks before I went to bed. Like not gummies, fruit snacks and organic ones, but like I just couldn't help it. Like I feel the same for those people with the CPAP machines who are like, I should be doing this. Like I should not be eating gummies, but I am. So I totally understand
people who
that.
take a night off. Like you just don't feel like wearing the mask that night. Let me ask you something really quick. You've mentioned, I think, gummies a couple times. Are you more of so I'm more of like a chocolate guy. Are you more of like the fruity
Used to be allergic, brother. Milk, eggs, cheese, you name it.
You've hit that allergic card every single episode, my man.
Listen, it's part of my identity. Listen, I'll have a Hershey's bar every once in a blue moon, and it took me a while to get into that just due to not being able to have it for like the first, I think, 17 years of my life. But with that came a sweet tooth. I love me some gummies, Swedish Fish, Nerds Rope, Nerds Clusters, peach rings. I used to. You ever had a cavity?
Yeah, I have.
I have 22 teeth. 22 teeth that are in the watch category right now.
Wow. Are you watching them?
They are. I've skipped my last 2 dentist appointments. I'm freaking out. But I went to the dentist during COVID. Listen to this. This is madness, and I got absolutely hosed. I'm still looking for this guy. But I went to this old guy. I won't say his name, Coletti. And something was off about him. Like his hands are really jittery, but I haven't been in the dentist in like 6 years. And he was like,
dude,
woof.
A jittery handed dentist that's a nightmare.
He was old and fat too. I'm not going to hold either of those against him, but like just something didn't feel right about this guy. So basically I go in there and he tells me, he's like, yeah, you got 22 cavities. I was like, oh boy, I checked my dental insurance to make sure I had it. So he's like, we should start doing them one side at a time. So he's like, I'll do this whole side. I'll do this whole side, all 4. I was like, fuck it, go ahead. So he bangs out this top left side here. Boom, puts the filling in, on my way. 2 days later, ding, 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 COVID. So that old bastard shuts down his practice. The fucking filling falls out.
Yep.
So I just got a big old gap in that tooth, and he said he won't take me. So I got it fixed recently because he was afraid of COVID. Big old lip. Like I didn't work with me.
A lib with shaky hands, dude. It's not good.
No. Shout out Joe Biden. But yeah, no, I don't know how we got there, but yeah, I'm in like, so the diet's probably a good thing because I'm sure some of those 22 cavities have turned into, those 22 watches have turned into cavities. And I just don't have the energy to go through like root canals and stuff.
No, I actually don't know what that means, but it's always been talked about in a very negative light. It sounds terrifying.
So happy you said that. I'm petrified to Google it, but like, do they? I think they just, yeah, I think they drill through the tooth and like, what do they do with the root? Like, do they drill the root too? Yeah, we shouldn't even do this.
They definitely canal it.
My mom was a dental hygienist too, so this is a bad look all around. Hopefully she's not watching. If you are, turn it off. But Yeah, it's rough. I don't know how we got there, but I did have a follow-up to your original question
All right,
because
go ahead.
you specialize. It sounds like you specialize in CPAPs and breast pumps. No, or
Not at, we do breast pumps, but not. I'm not in the breast pump like department as much. However, again,
breast pump game.
I'm definitely in the game, but
Hell yeah.
for all your needs, you definitely come to me first.
Now, I can't imagine this is true, but do they have these little computers in the breast pumps too? Because that borders
To,
on creepy.
to check usage.
I, I don't know what they're doing with them.
Yeah, it's checking usage, size of the cup, and suck
Shut
capacity.
up.
No,
Shut up. I was about to freak out.
Yeah,
Some
they're sending that
fucking
to us,
pervert.
and they're sending it
Yeah.
to the insurance company.
He did. He just camping out, checking his reports. Golly. Oh man, you had me. I fall for everything. But okay, so that's reassuring. I do understand the CPAP side of it. I think that should be more public knowledge because
Well, you know what's wild? It's public knowledge on the online forums. Ever since working here, like every once in a while, if I want to figure something out that's not like in any of our like guidebooks or whatever, you throw it on Google, dude. CPAP discussions on threads like Reddit threads and whatever else goes deep, very very deep. I've been like 3 a.m. just like scrolling down, and people are just like shitting on companies like me, and I'm like, oh man, we're good people.
we're trying.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
trying. Yeah, I don't really know how to work Reddit. Mine's just boobs for some reason. One thing I don't know, do you know how to do Discord?
No, I don't even know what
No,
it is.
neither do I. I tried to
Yeah.
do it and it's just very confusing, so I deleted it.
Yeah, and at this point in my life, new things, I'm starting to definitely feel like my dad. Like I don't know if I can get into anything new at this point. Like I've figured out all the things that I've been able to figure out, and anything new is just I'm like, what are you gonna
I
do?
feel I feel the same exact way about Mayo's podcast that he has coming out. Like that's new. No, nice, not a nice guy. But no dice. I agree with you. That's my long-winded way of saying that. So that's crazy. That CPAP stuff. I'm gonna go tell my wife that 'cause she's a nurse and maybe she already knows. But that's stuff they want you to watch out for. We
Dude,
won't even go.
that's why I was waiting for episode 4. I didn't think we were ready for it yet.
No way. No way. You save the big fish for last. I like that.
So we did discuss your haircut. It looks fantastic, by the way, Dr.
Thank
Ford.
you. I don't have any product in it, but I appreciate you saying that.
Wow, that's a lie. We had you and I had talked tonight about our kids getting haircuts. My kid's hair grows like a weed, so my oldest son is going to be 3 in a couple weeks. He's had his haircut. I don't even know how many times at this point. At currently, he's okay with it. It sounds like you might have had some bad experiences.
Domestic terrorist. Yeah, he's a domestic terrorist.
Now,
Good kid.
are you going to a barber? Like, what's the landscape? What's going on?
We went to a barber first. Went to my guy Jeff. Shout out. He stopped answering my text messages after that. He was so bad. He was such a fucking terror, and like he's strong too, and I'm weak, so I'm like holding him in the chair, and scissors are kind of flinging past my face. So we tried that. I gave the guy $60.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
Any blood? Any nicks?
No blood, no nicks. He's a professional, as you can
Good.
see. And then we've transitioned to a place called Sharky's, no free ads. It's a kid's place, and I think what keeps us going back is the young lady who does his hair is fantastic. Very good with the screaming, and they give him a balloon at the end. So every once in a while during the screaming, I can kind of like coach him through the process and be like, there's a balloon, and it slows him down a little bit. Yeah, he's a nightmare in the chair. So was I. So it's genetics.
Yeah, I definitely remember not being good with it. So the lucky part for us is my good friend is actually a barber. He works in a barber shop. So he's seen this guy around, like he's come to the house, he's come to kids' parties and stuff like that. So that eases him in a little bit, but there's a ton of bribing going on. Like whether or not he's comfortable with the barber, we put my son in the chair. I'm holding a tube of M&Ms, like in front of him, kind of like waving it, like this is yours if things go well, you know. And he's sitting there with his little tablet, like watching PJ Masks the entire time. It's just covered in hair; he can't see anything, but it seems to work out okay. It's not bad as far as the kids shows go. Also brought the little man to the movies.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
So here's the worst part. now I get very invested into storylines. So now I just need to know what happens at the end of Kung Fu Panda 4 because we didn't last the whole movie.
No?
No, he did all right, but he got that fidget, like things started going fidgety, and then he hit me with he's like, Dad, let's walk around. And I was like, all right, I know this is where this is going. We walked around the lobby. I tried to get him to go back in, and then it was like, whatever. He lasted 45 minutes. So there
Get
was
some popcorn.
no screaming and crying. He got popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. But again, I'm gonna have to I don't know. I'm gonna have to go on one of these scammer websites and watch the ending of Kung Fu Panda 4 because it's killing me.
I'll send it to you. I can figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some heat coming your way about the process of bringing that kid that young to the movies. I disagree. I think parenting, as a whole, especially when we get into the talk back, ride the dog, pull the dog's tail, and kick dad phase, which we're in now. It's just about getting them through the day,
It is.
getting to that pillow time right around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and game
It's
time.
the old Cullinane method. It's killing time, baby, killing time.
True. Yeah, no, that was very nice of you. I'm glad. I will find out how Kung Fu Panda 4 ended. Was there any bad guys?
There were some bad guys.
Man, you didn't
There
miss
was
much.
there was a chameleon situation. Yeah, it's about as far as I could tell you. I tell you this, dude. Speaking of, what's the most you've traveled with your son so far? Has he gone on? So he's gone on a plane.
Florida and Ohio. Yeah.
How was that?
Fine. He does very well, actually. I was shocked. We came prepared with every parenting method in the book to shut him up during the plane, but no, he hung out. The first go around, he had the boob. He was young enough for that, and who's not going to be happy with a boob on a plane? It's always been kind of my dream, but it wouldn't be appropriate. And then the second go around, he was fine. Just cooked the tablet for a few hours, and we got into the sun. So, how about you? Have you done the plane yet?
Yeah, he's done it a couple times, and then we're going to Jamaica in a couple weeks, and we're bringing both boys. So that should be an interesting ride. Just because one of them's he'll be 10 months when that happens, and then the older one, like I said, is almost 3. So it'll be an interesting dynamic to see how that goes. Last time we brought him on a plane, my wife had this idea of we made these little care packages with candy and gum and mints and stuff, and then a little note, and it said I don't know, something sorry if our kid screams. Then we literally handed it out to every person around us.
I thought you meant for the kid. That's genius.
No, it's for all the other people to kind of shut him up if the kid's, if he starts reacting. So that went over kind of well. And it kind of just makes you look like you're prepared as a parent. You're just handing these bad boys out with a little printed note. You're like, yeah, no big deal.
Wow, I'm gonna put that in the playbook for the next time we travel, just as a backup. But you're going to Jamaica in a couple weeks, you said?
Going to Jamaica? Yep.
Wow. Yep. You're Jamaican me jealous of.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. We're going to. It's a big breast pump conference down in Jamaica.
Oh, for real?
No.
That's that'd be exciting. I gotta get our breast pump. Shit.
So, anything else? Anything else going on in the family life, dad life for you?
No, we talked about it a little bit. My lordship.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I think the people should hear about this. So, the drip lord may actually be a lord. Is this what we're hearing?
Correct. Yes, I'm a legal lord. I own 1 acre of land in Scotland, thus making me Sir Lord Patrick Ford of, I forget what fucking town it is, but yeah, I'm like a legal lord. I got that for my birthday one day. Lord,
talk about Ford. A spot for a live show,
brother. Not a bad idea. I might have to buy.
That's your acre, dude.
Oh no, it's not an acre. It's not an acre. It's a square foot. I misspoke. Yeah, no, I think it was one of those infomercials late at night. My wife saw it and was like, perfect. So, yeah, I'll try to find the plaque. I'm a legal lord. Other than that, I got nothing else going on.
Sure. Well, so as we typically do, last sort of segment of the show, we'll talk about KMS. But I think before we get into any of the details, we do have an exclusive drop, some exclusive information regarding the Network Boys chat.
Shattuck's the rat. Shattuck. He's the rat.
You heard it here first. That is what's swirling right now. People are saying that Shattuck is the rat. I don't know how unbelievable that is. I think that we could have kind of sniffed that one out. What do you think, Pat?
I don't want to derail anything, so you'll just fill me in later. The freaking dog came down here. I had to go grab him, so I missed all of that. But
we'll talk about it in post. We'll talk about it in post.
Yeah, after post-op.
Yep, absolutely. We had, so obviously there was some chat talk. We had the Mike and Mick show. I like the combination of Mike and Mick. I want to say right here, right now, I love a Mick show. I really, really do. I'm a full-blown maniac. Things to touch on. I'm sure you'll think the same thing, but the Mick's girlfriend stuff. We've got more vacation talk. Parents not thanking him for paying for dinner. Brother Al is siding with Menners. Brother Al's leaving $200 for Mick like an absolute asshole. What a scumbag move that is to leave $200. I can't even believe that. So where do you want to start?
I knew exactly where it was going when he was like, yeah, he left me $200. I'm like, there's no way Mick is gonna find this to be a good thing. I am full on a maniac. He is the craziest person that we have in a good way. But no, the Mike and Mick combo was a little bit different from the last time they were in together, or maybe the time previous where they wanted to kill each other, which was one of my favorite shows ever.
I didn't remember that till like halfway through. I was like, oh yeah, these guys brought each other's throats last time they were in here.
Yeah, that was the best. And I just want to say one thing to Mick. I said it to him in direct message. I'll say it to him again. I don't want to be too loud. At some point, you'll realize when your girlfriend or significant other goes on vacation and says, hey, you're not coming. It's the fucking greatest thing in the world. Stop bitching about it. Just say, have a good time.
Pure bliss. Pure bliss.
Fucking underwear only around the house for a week. Like, no showers, just chips. Well, I can't do that anymore because of the diet. But like, regardless, like, fucking take it, brother. I want to just get that off my chest. But yeah,
I'm glad you did. Yeah, he's great. They also had the stream cut out, a little bit concerning.
What's up with these guys?
And it had that had to happen. First show of Portland Week, like there was just definitely a collective sigh from every person sitting at their work desk watching that stream. It's like, oh, here we go.
I think they're gonna get bailed out in Portland. Like this one sounded like it was YouTube's. It didn't sound like it was their fault. When it crashed. Because remember, it didn't go up like either. Like you couldn't get YouTube to work, but Rumble was working. When it crashed,
I think it was live on Twitter early too. His computer
just broke. Maybe they need to upgrade the internet to like $400, $500, $600, $700 a month. I don't know if the 350 is getting it done, but I don't think they're that technologically unsavvy, even though there's no history to back that up. But I think they'll get bailed out because the guys at the did you go to the State Theater last time?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
It was. I think everything was pretty much perfect from audio and like technical.
And that stuff was all handled in house, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. Or
most of it, anyway. Yeah.
Most of it, yeah.
That was such a great show. One of the best shows, if not the best show I've ever been to. I had every seat in the house was perfect. So I was kind of I wasn't on the upper level, but I was in the way back, kind of towards that lobby area. Still a perfect seat. I just had such a great time. It's just such a great show. If anyone is watching this and is still undecided, you got to get to the show. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it's worth every penny. The only complaint I have about last time, and it's not really a complaint, it's just my neck was killing me afterwards. That was front row. Not a big deal. Just gonna look it up from right there. But
well, people do say that might be your best angle. I don't know if you want to be looking down. People are saying that. I'm not saying it.
There's a lot of people like one guy I want to shout out. I didn't shout him out last time. Sheldon told me that like he's been taking what we've been saying to heart about the whole like working hard thing. He's like, I was going to go to the show, but like I think I need to start focusing on like hard work. So
which would be good for him, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle. He's feeding the cookies to he's feeding the cows a lot of cookies recently, which is troublesome. But yeah, no, that was good to see that he's kind of taking our advice, but we will miss him in Portland. But yeah, if you don't have a ticket and you're thinking about thinking about going, buy one.
Definitely. Who else? What do we have? So it's Tuesday night. Who do we have in studio tomorrow?
Mutt.
We've got a Mutt show tomorrow.
Well, maybe Mutt's Thursday. I know
Yeah,
Mayo and Mutt is Thursday. Mayo and Jeff on Friday. God bless Jeff.
I think Mike's in tomorrow.
I think Mike's in tomorrow. And I don't know. I like everybody. I mean, you're never going to hear me say anything bad. I like everybody who's in the show, but I do like when Dave would just have like random lunatics in from time to time. Like I like the rotation that they have and everybody who kind of goes in. Even not Mayo. But I just like to see maybe a new face or two here and there.
I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow you did, because
maybe
they'll pair Mike with someone, I feel like, every once in a while, especially if it's a 2 Mike week. But hey, I'd love a solo Mike show too. I think obviously his dynamic with Kirk always works.
And I'll be excited to listen from my leadership conference I'm going to. A little sleepover in Connecticut. Another conference.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I can't wait to hear about it on week 5 of the Drip Show.
Exactly. It'll be very, very good.
And then we still need to plan apps with Mutt. Speaking of Mutt, I'm gonna leave you to set that all up, and then you just tell me where to be and when.
Yeah, when I was grabbing the doggy, FaceTime me, so I gotta call him back after. But yeah, listen, I don't know why it just feels like a perfect TGI Friday setup. I don't think they have any of those in Portland. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm gonna make it down for Friday night or just Saturday. We'll see.
Yeah, let me know. I'll definitely be up Friday. Took the day off. I'll probably be doing calls on the way up, unfortunately. Just listening into, you know how we do.
Dialing in.
That's right.
What did you call dials? Ripping dials. I'm going to start using that. I wanted to, but I'm going to start using that. Ripping dials.
Also should give a shout out to the Border Boys, the Open Border Boys. You are a huge fan of that show. I
fucking love those guys. That was the craziest 50 minutes. It went from, just trying to think of some of the segues. It went from like, something that Lucy Burge would probably report if she heard, to...
That's the part that's sticking out for me. I love when I know he was being sarcastic, but it was actually legitimately funny. I think it was Luke when he was like, "Well, what you need to do is if you think a girl's attractive online, you send her 7 messages every single day until
every time she opens her phone, she should have a message." There you go.
Like that was a joke, and it was fun. Like I don't know how much of an actual joke it. Like I'm sure he's doing it, but I do think he was trying to be funny, and it hit for me. I legitimately laughed out loud.
Yeah, I like that show was all over the place, but I enjoyed every second of it. So go check that out next time it comes out. It's a good listen. And then what else do we have? We got Mick, who's doing a free throw stream right now where he's doing a bracket.
Yeah. Was he wearing the biggest jersey in the entire what was that? Was that a dress?
It was a size small kids, but yeah, it was draped all over him. Like
dude, I thought when he first went on, I thought he was wearing a hoodie. And then when he got close to the camera, I was like, oh, that's a jersey.
No, they were talking about it. They're like, all right, we're gonna do a free throw contest. Let's go shoot some hoops. And like they pan